Hi, it's Stephen here from Sound of an Ocean Wave, and this is day 14 of the April Daily Draw. So let's see what message we get today. And I'll be taking the first card from the Good Fortune Tarot, followed by an Oracle card from the Angels and Ancestors Oracle. So let's choose our first card and get the reading underway. Okay, here we go. We have the Fool. I think we've had this before this month. This is a new beginning. We're approaching it with a sense of adventure. We're embracing the experience. That's what we had before, and it's reminding us to, whatever we're doing next, whatever new part of what we're doing, because we can have more than one new beginning. Because, as I say, sometimes the things we do, there are different stages. We begin one stage and then we finish that stage, but then we begin another stage in it before we finally get to the end result we've been wanting. And then at the end of that, we begin something new. So there's always occasions for doing something new. And it's also the attitude with which we're doing it. And to me, this is more of an attitude of embracing life enthusiastically. We have a sense of curiosity, with a sense of adventure, a willingness to take a few risks. Not reckless risks that are avoidable, but risks in the sense that it may pay off, it may not. But if it doesn't, okay, there's no great harm done. But if it does pay off, then great. We've benefited from it, but we won't know until we try. And that's the other message I feel that the Fool is coming to say to us today is that don't worry yet too much about the end result. Just enjoy the experience, give it a try, see what happens. If you don't think it's working out, then adjust what you're doing or start something else. But if you get something that you feel you want to do, but you're unsure about, will it work or not, and that's putting you off doing it because you might not get the result that you desire. And if you consider what the situation is going to be if it doesn't work out, you do have to think ahead and, well, if this doesn't work out, what will be the situation? And is that situation going to be acceptable to me? Can I handle that situation? If you can't, then maybe you do need a rethink. But if, yeah, I could live with that and move on from that, then what have you got to lose? Give it a try. Give it a try. Go for it, is what this card is saying. And don't overcomplicate matters either. Sometimes we can overthink. Sometimes we can overanalyze. But the Fool represents a simplicity of just doing it because we can. And we don't need to know every detail and all the ins and outs before we even step forward. That's the point. We're discovering things by doing it. We don't have to discover before we even start to do what we want to do. We discover as we're doing it. That's part of the experience. So take a bit of simplicity, simplify it, narrow it down to what it is you want to do. Don't make it overcomplicated. Embrace it. Look at the part that you're going to find, make it a fun experience where possible. And just experience life. Just learn from even the things that don't work out. there is still experiences that you can call upon and learn from. So it's not necessarily going to be a total waste of time. And yes, there will, some things won't work out. But that's part of the journey. And remember that the Fool is on a journey. The whole concept of the major arcana in the tarot, from the Fool to the World card, is often known as the Fool's journey. So it is a journey. There are many different kinds of experiences to have along the way, both ups and downs, but it's all part of the growing, learning experience of life. And we can miss out on so much by talking ourselves out of doing certain things, whereas the Fool would ask us to give it a try and open ourselves up to these new experiences, to seeing life as more of an adventure to be traveled through. And then any great adventure story is has twists and turns along the way. It is a journey. Any adventure story is a journey and goes through many different lands and circumstances, good fortune, reversals of fortune, challenges. But in the end, they get to the end of the journey and the reward for it. And part of the reward is the journey itself. So let's not talk ourselves out of things so easily. I'd have more of a, yes, I can do this. At least I can give it a try. And that's what the Fool card is suggesting to us today. Okay, let's see which oracle card we get to go with that. We have the Medicine Guardian here, which is about be open to healing information. Maybe the act of just doing it, just giving it a try, can be healing in itself. Because so often we think of reasons not to do something, and that can be limiting to us. And it can hold us back, it can cause us to miss out on so much enrichment and growth, that if we do too much of that, it can be seen to be harmful, at least wounding to us, because we haven't got the life energy that we should be having. And that in itself is something that may need healing. And part of it is just to give something a try. And as we experience trying it and what we gain from it, that very process can be healing in and of itself. The journey can bring the healing, because it opens us up to the things within us. And by the things we meet along the journey, and by the end of it, we're different people. You look at any hero's journey, any story with a hero's journey, whatever, they're not the same. They've changed by the end of the story, with all the different experiences along the way. They've grown, they've developed qualities, they've strengthened their strengths, they've confronted their weaknesses and maybe overcome some of them, but they're not the same. They've experienced some inner change that hopefully is for the better and is thereby a healing, growing experience. And that's what these cards are suggesting that we do. Embrace life, because life lived in a true sense is a healing, inspiring experience. Holding back, limiting ourselves is the opposite to that. So let's at least be willing to give it a try. And that is the message of the cards today. Okay, so that is today's message. I'll be back tomorrow with day 15. Until then, thank you for listening. Take care, everyone, and I'll see you all again very soon. Okay, bye-bye.